She said, "You'd never survive real responsibility. My ex knew how to handle things you don't." She said this while pretending she was at a late meeting, except the office confirmed, "There's no meeting tonight." I didn't expose her. I simply made one call. Next morning, her phone rang, and the second she heard the voice on the other end, she dropped it on the floor without a word. "I'm Steve, 35, and until last month I thought I was in a committed relationship with someone who respected me. Turns out I was just the safe option while she kept her real priorities elsewhere. When I found out, I didn't yell or make a scene. I just made one strategic phone call that unraveled everything she'd been hiding. I'd been with Monica for 2.5 years. We met at a mutual friend's birthday party, connected over our shared love of hiking and terrible reality TV, and things progressed naturally from there. She was smart, ambitious, worked in corporate sales. We'd talked about moving in together, maybe getting engaged next year. I thought we were building towards something real. About 3 months ago, things started shifting. Monica became more distant, more critical. She'd make comments about how I lacked drive or wasn't assertive enough. I work in IT infrastructure, steady job, good pay, nothing flashy but reliable. She started comparing me to her ex, a guy named Derek who she'd dated for 3 years before me. Derek was apparently some hotshot sales manager who knew how to take charge and made things happen. At first, the comparisons were subtle. Derek would have handled that differently. Derek always knew what to say in situations like this. Then they got more pointed, more frequent, more insulting. The breaking point came 2 weeks ago on a Tuesday night. Monica had texted me around 5 p.m. saying she had a late meeting at the office and wouldn't be home until around 9 p.m. This wasn't unusual. She had late meetings a few times a month. I said no problem. I'd grab dinner with my buddy Ryan. Except Ryan canceled last minute. His kid got sick. So I decided to surprise Monica by picking up Thai food from her favorite place and dropping it off at her office around 7 p.m. She could eat when her meeting ended. I got to her office building around 7:15 p.m. The lobby was mostly empty. Just the security guard at the desk I signed in told him I was dropping off food for Monica Chen in sales. He looked at his computer, then at me. "There's no one from sales here tonight. Building's pretty much empty except for the cleaning crew and a few people in accounting." "Are you sure? Monica Chen? She said she had a late meeting." He checked again. "No meetings scheduled for sales tonight. Last person from that department left at 5:30. I thanked him, took the food, and left. Sat in my car in the parking lot, trying to figure out what was happening. She'd lied about where she was. The question was why. I called her. She answered on the third ring, and I could hear background noise, music, people talking like she was at a bar or a restaurant. "Hey babe, what's up?" "Just checking in. How's the meeting going?" "Oh, it's fine. Bit boring. You know how these things are. Should wrap up in an hour or so." "Okay, want me to pick up dinner for when you get home?" "That's sweet, but we're ordering in here. I'll probably just have a small snack when I'm back. Don't wait up if you're tired." We hung up. She'd just lied directly to my face. Not even a good lie. She clearly wasn't in a meeting. I drove home, put the Thai food in the fridge, sat on the couch trying to process what was happening. Around 9:30 p.m. I heard Monica's car in the driveway. She came in looking relaxed, cheerful even. "Hey, meeting finally ended. I'm exhausted." She kicked off her heels and headed for the bedroom. "How was it?" I asked. "Tedious. Just going over quarterly projections and strategy stuff. You know how Mike gets when he's in planning mode." Mike was her boss, more lies. I didn't confront her that night. I needed to know more first. The next day, Wednesday, I did something I'm not proud of but don't regret. I called Monica's office and asked for her assistant, Kelly. "Hi, Kelly. This is Steve, Monica's boyfriend. I'm trying to plan a surprise for her, but I need to work around her schedule. Can you tell me if she has any late meetings coming up this week?" Kelly was friendly and helpful. "Oh, that's sweet. Let me check." No, actually, her schedule's pretty clear this week. Normal 9 to 5 days. She had a late meeting on Friday last week, but nothing scheduled for this week. What about yesterday? Tuesday? Tuesday? No, she left at her normal time around 5:15, I think. Got it. Thanks, Kelly. So Monica had lied about Tuesday's meeting, and apparently about other late meetings too. I needed to know where she'd actually been that evening. I asked casually, "Hey, you have any late meetings coming up?" "Actually, yeah, tomorrow night. Probably won't be home until 9:30 or 10. Okay, I'll fend for myself for dinner." Thursday evening came. Monica left the house at 5:45 p.m., dressed nicely, said she'd text me when the meeting was ending. At 6:15 p.m., I did something that confirmed my worst suspicions. I used Find My Friends. We'd shared locations months ago for practical reasons. Never thought about it since. She wasn't at her office. She was at a restaurant downtown, an upscale steakhouse. I got in my car and drove there, parked across the street where I could see the entrance. At 7:20 p.m., Monica walked out. She wasn't alone. She was with a man, tall, well-dressed, confident body language. They stood outside talking for a few minutes. He touched her arm. She laughed at something he said. Then they hugged goodbye, and she walked to her car. I didn't recognize him from photos, but something told me I knew exactly who he was. I drove home before she did, was sitting on the couch when she walked in at 8:30. "Meeting done early?" I asked. "Yeah, we powered through it. I'm starving though, think I'll make a sandwich." I watched her move around the kitchen, lying so easily, and something cold settled in my chest. "Monica, can I ask you something?" "Sure. What's up?" "Do you think I handle responsibility well?" She stopped, looked at me with surprise. "That's random. Why are you asking?" "Just curious about your opinion." She leaned against the counter. "Honestly, I think you're fine with day-to-day stuff, but you're not great with real pressure. You avoid conflict. You don't take charge. You'd never survive real responsibility." "Like what kind of responsibility?" "I don't know. High-stakes decisions, leadership situations. My ex, Derek, he knew how to handle things you don't. He had this presence, this confidence. You're just different." There it was. Another comparison to Derek. I nodded slowly. "Where were you tonight, Monica?" Her face changed immediately. "I told you. Late meeting. Kelly says there was no meeting scheduled. Kelly doesn't know everything. I checked your location. You were at Blackstone Steakhouse. I drove there. I saw you with him." The color drained from her face. "Steve? Is it Derek?" She didn't answer, which was answer enough. "How long?" "It's not what you think." "How long have you been seeing him?" We've been talking, rekindling our friendship. It's nothing serious." "You've been lying to me for weeks about where you are. You're having dinner with your ex. You're constantly telling me how much better he is than me. That sounds pretty serious." "You're overreacting." "I'm done, Monica, pack your things. You can stay at Derek's since you clearly prefer him." She started crying, trying to explain, saying it wasn't an affair, they were just friends. She was confused. She needed time to figure things out. I didn't argue. I just went to the bedroom, packed a bag, and told her I'd be at Ryan's. She could move out by the weekend. Update 1. I stayed at Ryan's house for 3 days. Monica texted constantly, apologizing, explaining, begging for another chance. She admitted she'd been meeting Derek for about 6 weeks. They'd reconnected at an industry conference. She swore nothing physical had happened. They were just talking, catching up. She said she'd been confused about our relationship, but realized now that she wanted to be with me. I didn't believe her. Even if nothing physical happened, which I doubted, the emotional affair was enough. The lies were enough. The constant comparisons were enough. On Sunday, I made a phone call. I'd done some research, found Derek's LinkedIn profile, found his company, got his work email through the company website. I sent him a message. "Derek, You don't know me, but I'm Monica Chen's boyfriend. Or I was until I found out she's been meeting you for secret dinners while lying to me about where she is. I'm done with her. But I thought you should know something. Monica's been telling me for months how much better you are than me, how you knew how to handle things I don't, how you had confidence and presence I lack. She's been building you up as this perfect guy while tearing me down. Just thought you should know what you're getting into. Also, she's been telling people at her office that you're just an old friend she's networking with. Make of that what you will. Good luck. I hit send. Didn't tell Monica about it. Didn't mention it to anyone except Ryan, who said it was either brilliant or insane, and he wasn't sure which. Monday morning, I moved back into the apartment. Monica had moved out to her friend's place over the weekend. I was making coffee around 8:30 a.m. when my phone rang, unknown number. Hello? Is this Steve? A man's voice, professional, controlled. Yeah, who's this? Derek Morrison, I got your email. Okay. I needed to tell you something. Monica's been lying to both of us. That got my attention. What do you mean? She told me you two broke up 3 months ago, that she was single and we were just taking things slow while she got over the relationship. I had no idea you were still together. When I got your email, I called her immediately. She tried to say you were lying, that you were an ex who was harassing her, so I asked her to show me proof, texts between you, anything that showed you weren't together anymore. And? She couldn't. Because you were together. She's been playing both of us, telling me you were an ex, telling you I was just a friend. Neither of us had the full picture. I sat down. So what happens now? Now I'm done with her. I'm not interested in someone who lies this easily. I'm calling to tell you what happened and to apologize. I didn't know I was participating in this. Appreciated. And Steve? For what it's worth, she said a lot of negative things about you to make herself look like the victim of a bad relationship. I believed her, because I had no reason not to. But if even half of what she said was true, you still deserve better than how she treated you. No one deserves to be lied to like this. We hung up. I sat there processing everything. Monica hadn't just been having an emotional affair. She'd been completely rewriting history to both of us, telling me Derek was better while telling Derek I didn't exist anymore. Update 2. At 9:15 a.m. that same Monday, Monica's phone must have rung, because at 9:17 a.m., my phone started blowing up. 17 missed calls from Monica in 3 minutes. Then texts. What did you do? Derek just called me. He's saying we're done. What did you tell him? I didn't respond. Let her panic. Around 10 a.m., she showed up at the apartment. I'd changed the locks over the weekend, so she couldn't get in. She knocked frantically. I opened the door but kept the chain on. What? What did you tell Derek? The truth. That you were lying to both of us. You had no right. I had every right. You were lying to me for weeks. He deserved to know what kind of person he was dealing with. He broke up with me. Are you happy? You ruined everything. I didn't ruin anything you did when you decided to lie to everyone in your life. This is insane. You're vindictive and controlling and... Monica, I'm done listening to you blame everyone but yourself. You made your choices. Derek made his. Now I'm making mine. We're done. Don't contact me again. I closed the door. She yelled through it for a few more minutes before finally leaving. Over the next week, the full picture emerged through mutual friends. Monica had been telling different stories to different people. Her co-workers thought Derek was a professional mentor. Her friends thought I was boring, and she was considering leaving me. Her family thought everything was fine. No one had the complete story, because she'd been carefully managing narratives when everything came out. When Derek called her and ended things, when I confirmed to mutual friends that she'd been lying about late meetings, her reputation took a massive hit. People she'd lied to were angry. Her work friends felt manipulated. Her family was disappointed. Update 3. Monica tried to reach out a few more times over the following weeks, first through apologetic texts, then through mutual friends asking me to give her another chance, finally through a long email explaining that she'd been going through something and made mistakes, but truly loved me. I didn't respond to any of it. I'd spent 2.5 years with someone who compared me unfavorably to her ex, lied about where she was, and tried to restart a relationship while keeping me as backup. That's not love. That's convenience. Derek reached out once more about 3 weeks after everything happened. He'd heard through Monica's co-workers that she was telling people he'd pursued her aggressively and wouldn't take no for an answer. He wanted to make sure I knew the truth, that she'd initiated everything, that she'd been the one reaching out. I told him I believed him, and that I appreciated him being honest. We're not friends or anything, but there's a mutual respect there. We both got played by the same person. The weirdest part of all this was realizing how many people had noticed Monica's behavior, but never said anything. After we broke up, multiple friends admitted they'd thought she was too critical of me, too focused on what I couldn't do instead of what I could. They'd stayed quiet because they didn't want to interfere. I get it, but it also made me realize I need to surround myself with people who'll tell me hard truths when I need to hear them. Final update. It's been 2 months since I sent that email to Derek. I'm doing well. The apartment feels lighter without Monica's constant criticism hanging over everything. I've reconnected with hobbies I'd let slide. Started rock climbing again, joined a soccer league, been reading more. Monica moved to a different city about 3 weeks ago. Got a job transfer. Apparently needed a fresh start away from the social fallout here. I heard this through mutual friends who still keep me updated despite my requesting they don't. They seem to think I want to know. I don't, but I also don't stop them. Last I heard, she's been posting on social media about toxic exes and learning to trust again. The irony isn't lost on anyone who knows the real story. Derek and I crossed paths once at a networking event last week. We nodded at each other, shared a brief, "How's it going?" and moved on. No hard feelings on either side, just two guys who got tangled up in someone else's mess. The thing I keep thinking about is that phone call Derek made. The way Monica must have felt when she realized both of us knew the truth. When she understood that the carefully constructed narratives she'd built around both relationships had collapsed in a single morning, I didn't expose her publicly. I didn't blast her on social media or tell everyone we knew. I just made one strategic call, sent one email to the person who deserved to know he was being lied to, and that was enough for everything to unravel. Sometimes revenge isn't about grand gestures, it's about simply revealing the truth and letting consequences follow naturally. Edit 1. People keep asking if I regret the email to Derek. I don't. He deserved to know he was being lied to, just like I deserve to know Monica created this situation by lying to both of us. I just made sure we both had accurate information. Edit 2. For those asking about the dropped phone moment, Derek told me later that when he called Monica that morning, she answered cheerfully thinking it was a normal call. The second he said, "I got an interesting email from your boyfriend Steve," she apparently went silent. Then the call disconnected. He assumed she hung up, but mutual friends later told him she'd literally dropped her phone in shock. She called him back 2 minutes later trying to explain, but he was already done listening. Edit 3. Yes, I changed the locks legally. Monica had voluntarily moved out and wasn't on the lease. I gave her time to collect her belongings with notice everything was done properly.